Hello, hello. Welcome back. And today we're talking about how to have a quiet mind. And this is something pretty much nobody possesses and very few strive toward, but is one of the most amazing qualities you could ever achieve, more than wealth or fame or anything in this world. This is and I'll even say it's such an attractive quality. And I was listening to this teaching by Elisebeth Elliot a while back, and it was so good. And I wanted to share with you guys some of my notes quickly on it, so you don't have to listen to the full 45 minutes. Although if you want to, it was amazing. And this is something I've been working on in my life and cultivating, because it's so easy to get stuck in the scrolling and just being so busy in our mind, and it affects our sleep, it affects how we treat people, and it's such an amazing life when we can get to the other side in the quietness. And one thing I'll just add to this that she didn't say is I believe to have a quiet mind, you need to have a quiet life. If you're always doing things full of drama, or your friends are full of drama, you're interacting in a ton of drama with your family, like all this stuff, you won't be able to have a quiet mind. Or if you're always racing everywhere and doing a whole bunch of things that you think you have to do, but really in the grand scheme of things are not important, maybe start trying to slow those things down. Because women in the past were able to have quiet minds because they lived quiet lives. And that doesn't mean it has to be boring or anything of that matter. No, I am like a full passionated creature going after so many things and learning so many things and everything. But yet we can still have a quiet mind. So, she was reading a poem by Amy Carmichael, and I loved the words to this. Hold us in quiet, in the age-long minute when thou art silent. Hold us in quiet, in the age-long minute when thou art silent. Trust in the sovereignty of God. He allows everything that happens, and it's for your good. So don't question God. It's none of our business. And another thing I had read in another book of this family whose daughter had died when she was young. Another family had sent this quote to her to the family that said, "Don't put a question mark where God has put a period." And that's always stuck with me. Learn to keep a quiet heart. Be in silence. Don't always be listening to something or having to be doing something. Everything is an affair of the Spirit. It matters how you do your housework. It matters how you treat your husband. It matters what you read, what you see. I was reading another book called The Things They Don't Want You to Know About by Justin, I think, Trudeau. And it's a book that I cannot find anywhere because it's been banned. Such a good book. So my adopted parents have sent it to me. So I'm reading it. And this was one of the things it said is we are put in front of like 10,000 times more horrible images and disturbing things and disturbing articles and things that we read and images and all of this through the lives we lead nowadays that were not there even 100 years ago, all throughout history. And we think all of history was so rough, right? Like, all this war and stuff. But actually what we do to ourselves, reading about all the wars all over the world and all the hurts all over the world, is actually way worse for us. And we can't do anything about it anyway. So just pray and don't put those images in front of your mind. Everything you do is an offering to Jesus Christ. So whenever you do anything, you're doing it for Him. When you're cleaning someone's dishes, or you're taking care of someone, or you're doing something sweet for somebody, you're doing it for God Himself. Or when you're working, like when I'm working, I give it my all, like I'm doing it for God, not just for my boss, or when I do things for my parents or whoever it is. You know, God sees the simple and great things the same. So we can put just as much effort in knowing that God sees the little things just as much as the big things. And actually the little things are way more important. You know, ministry means service, nothing else. So I think that's the thing for a lot of people, where they want to be in all these positions of authority because then it makes them look good. But really, you're more of a servant. You need to have more of a servant heart when you're in those positions. And you know, if you trust God, you won't worry about tomorrow. He is in your tomorrow. He's already been there. And He can lead you through it. Another thing she said is use written prayers. Read prayers from the saints of the past. She reads the St. Francis prayer, and it's such a beautiful prayer. Mother Teresa also used to read it every day. And it goes like, help me to love rather than to be seeking love. Help me to understand rather than to be understood. You know, beautiful things like that. Because when we focus on that, what is truly amazing is actually people then start understanding us and loving us. So it's one of those paradoxes, one of those great paradoxes of life. And you know, to keep a quiet heart instead of frustration when things happen, because things will happen to you every day and derail your plans. Instead of getting frustrated, use that time to have acceptance. Accept it and roll along with it. And this is something that was always really hard for me because I'm very directionally oriented. And I'm learning to loosen up on those things. And it makes life so much easier on you and your heart, because people actually, they get heart trouble from putting their heart under so much stress and all of that. So this is good for you physically. It's not just some like spiritual thing. So I hope that helped you guys. Definitely watch the movie War Room. It will show you the power of prayer and that is the way we fight. And the spirit world, you know, the world that we see is not nearly as real as the world we can't. The world we cannot see is so much more real than the world we can see. And there are beings in that other world, and there are things we can affect, and that affect us. And that's why when we work in that spiritual world, it is so much more powerful and effective than when we're trying to do it in the physical by fighting with somebody and arguing and all of that. So have your little prayer closet. I made mine. And spend time in there and pray and be silent. And that's when things will come to you. Even just ideas. Like for me, when I can be quiet, like I'll get all these downloads of like video ideas and things to say to people and things that I need to send this card to somebody. Just things like that, you know. Having a quiet heart makes you a blessing to other people, which ultimately blesses you. So I hope that helped you guys. Comment your thoughts down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support this channel, I have opened a Cash App that you guys can use. And let's see. Yes, and if you want to go deeper into any of this, check out my course, Divinely Favored. It's down below. And all of this mindset stuff is in there. And becoming the person you want to be. So definitely check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.